Okay, so this video is going to cover HHT and iron, and anybody that has an iron deficit or HHT like myself that needs to take iron regularly. I'm going to go over a couple tips and tricks and things that I do, things that I have learned from my hematologist who specializes in blood disorders in HHT. Again, I am not a doctor. Everything I'm telling you is stuff that I have been told, but each person is encouraged to please verify it yourself, verify it with your doctor. This is just things that I have learned, tips and tricks and things that I have been told myself. So I cannot be responsible for anybody coming back to me later on and trying to go after me for it. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't give doctor advice. I don't give legal advice. I just give stuff that I have learned on my own along the way. So one of the things that I take is I actually take a 1-a-day prenatal vitamin. The prenatal vitamins say they have 100% of the daily value of iron that is needed for a person. And the good thing is when you take the prenatal vitamins, you also don't seem to get the constipation or the backup in your system that you get from taking regular raw iron. I have taken liquid iron before, oral liquid iron, and I can tell you right now it is the most god-awful, horrible experience there is. It does not matter what you put it with. You get that metallic, nasty taste in your mouth. You burp it up. It lingers for hours. I would not advise doing it. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going to be drinking throughout this video a lot because for some reason I have a very dry throat today. So, one of the other things that I get is, I got this one from Walmart. You can, again, any brand, any store you want to shop at, it doesn't matter, just the item. Dark chocolate bars. I hate dark chocolate. I prefer milk chocolate. I don't like dark chocolate, but I have found that dark chocolate has a higher iron content than regular chocolate. So this entire bar, there is 15 pieces in it. The entire bar has 3 servings. 1/3 of the bar is a serving. An entire serving size is 170 calories. What I do, because of the fact that this does have 30% iron in it, and it's not a large amount of iron that I'm consuming, but I do consume it on a regular basis, I eat 1 square a night. So I get 15 servings or 15 nightly uses out of this. 1 square a night just to get a little extra iron in my system. Plus it helps stay away a sweet tooth if you're trying to lose weight like myself. It kind of helps if you're having a sweet tooth to grab 1 chunk of this. And it seems to curb that. The other thing I have, and this was recommended by my hematologist because of the fact that I was having so many issues because my nosebleeds got so severe. I was taking infusions once a week, which is not fun. I am very valvy. Anybody who knows what that means, you know how bad it is if you're too valvy, which I am. They have had to use the light on me in order to find certain spots before. Now we know where all the spots are, and there is only a few spots on me that they could put an IV in, especially for the infusions. When you get your infusions done, they do not like going in through your elbow part of your arm because if you move wrong, it messes it up. So they prefer going through either this part of your arm, which I am not allowed to have done because it blows out every time. So there is only 3 spots on each hand. On the top of my hands, 2 spots, and then right along the very side of my wrist here that they can get an IV into for my infusions. And the iron infusions that I get take about 4 hours to have done. It is a lot of waiting. It is very time consuming. So this is tips and tricks I have learned to try to keep myself out of that chair. So back to this one. This is called Vitrin C with iron. Like I said, this was recommended by my hematologist. I will put the link down below. Other places might have this. I find this at Walmart. I just get it from Walmart online. I do not think they have it inside the stores at all. It's something that you'd have to order online. Sometimes I can get them on a deal. They do have it on sale every once in a while. The last time, just recently when I bought this one, it's $12.97 a bottle. Let me check and I can tell you how many pills are in a bottle. Okay, so there is 60 pills in this bottle. I do not take this every day. You do not want to take this iron every day. The one a day, the chocolate bar are okay to consume every day. But iron in this type of concentration, you want to take every other day. You want to have several days in between. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is when I take these. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I do not. If you consume too much iron, again, you will have issues with constipation. That is not something good. It is hard having HHT and having to consume as much iron because most of the iron-rich foods, a lot of people do not like. I have had to change how I eat a lot. One of the things that I have learned, and it took me a while to learn how to be able to deal with, is black beans. I mix black beans in with yellow rice and put it in stuff like fajitas and taco shells. I end up adding it in there with chicken. It's fine when you mix it in together. I'm not the type of person that can just eat black beans straight, but I do like consuming a lot of beans. Beans have a lot of iron in them. Kale and cauliflower, spinach. One of the things is when you do consume iron, which I do not know why, but most doctors don't tell you it, which until I got the specialist that specializes in HHT, none of the other doctors ever had told me about this. But you cannot consume caffeine within 4 hours of taking iron. That's why I would recommend taking the iron right before you go to bed. But up to 4 hours before, it is best not to touch caffeine. Consuming caffeine actually makes it so the iron does not absorb into your system as good or as quickly as it would without it. So you only get maybe half the dose, if not less, if you are consuming caffeine with anything iron that you are, any iron pills that you are taking and any iron that you are eating. And this is one of the reasons why I have been able to stay away from the chair a little bit more, because of what, after I had learned that fact. And you cannot always expect every professional to know this. When I was going in for my infusions, literally getting iron pumped into me, which it is different when they're putting it directly in your bloodstream, because when they're putting it directly in your bloodstream, it doesn't matter as much because it is being completely absorbed. But not once did anybody look at me and say, hey, you know, we noticed you have a coffee with you, because I would always stop at Circle K and get a coffee. That's like Tim Hortons, 7-Eleven, other places. Just convenience store coffee, but it happens to be one down the road from us, and I really like their coffee. But at no time did anybody say, hey, you know, you really shouldn't have that coffee. That's not good for you. Or do you know that, are you taking iron and drinking coffee at the same time? Because, you know, if you drink coffee the same time with iron. None of them had any clue. Now, my son also has HHT like me. He also sees a hematologist. His doctor is different than mine. And his hematologist actually told me the same thing, that you do not want to consume iron around the same time you are consuming caffeine. So that's one tip that I want to put out there for everybody, so everybody knows. Besides that, it's mainly looking for iron-rich foods. Beef with liver and onions. I know a lot of people are both ways. Some people like the beef liver, some people don't. It is a very high source of iron, though. and it is really good for you. If you're the type of person that doesn't like beef, I would say go for the greens, the spinach, the kale. I'm the type of person that I love spinach and kale. I always, never really before I started having this issue as bad as I did about 3 or 4 years ago with my iron, I didn't eat kale. I didn't want nothing to do with kale. I didn't know what it was. I didn't care what it was. But now that I have this issue and I've started eating it, I've actually gotten so I really like kale. So that's one of the things that I eat on a regular basis now. So I would go ahead, and you can even look up online. There's fish, lentils. There's tons of different things that you can get iron from naturally. It's just, even just going and doing a Google search, you know, which foods have the highest iron content, and going through and checking and seeing for yourself what one of those foods that you're willing to consume. But the biggest thing I wanted to show today is not to go over all the foods as much as some of the supplements that you could take for it, along with getting the information out there that, yeah, if you are taking these, you want to steer clear of caffeine, because that's just the tip for today about this video, is steer clear of the caffeine. Letting you know that the prenatal vitamins and the vitamin C are some of the best ones for iron. Iron C helps speed up the absorption, or vitamin C helps speed up the absorption of iron into your system. So even if you want to take a regular iron pill, I would say do so, but do so with taking something like orange juice. You want to get a 100% vitamin C orange juice and consume your pill with that. And that will help actually speed up and help the absorption of the iron into your system. If you found this helpful at all, please like, subscribe, share, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. I have the link for my link tree for all my other profiles in my description or my bio, and I'm also starting a Patreon page, so I will also have tips and tricks on there on a regular basis, along with my TikToks and that. So until later, I hope this video helped you at all. Hopefully it gives somebody some tips, pointers, and tricks, and again, I will leave a link down below to the vitamin C for where I get it, and until later, I'll see you again. Bye.